Before we start this vlog off, the heat gun method can indeed work, and it does work in my opinion a lot better than the oven method. So if you guys want to do this, then I've got the 2000 watt heat gun here. It's got 2 variable speeds, and I set this to about 2/3 of the way up on the dial, and that ensures that it's not putting out too much heat to actually cause permanent damage to your PCB and the graphics card, but it does put out enough heat to potentially bring a faulty GPU back to life. And now in this vlog, I have brought one of those GPUs back to life using this method. And of course, there is some science behind it. There is another YouTuber who I looked at before this video who has a pretty detailed guide. He uses temp sensors and does pretty specific times in how he uses the heat gun. But for me, I found the only card that I got back to life 100%, I used the Luke Skywalker method. And that is, I was just using the force, and then I stopped after about 5 minutes. So if you want to use this, the temperatures that I've got here, 2/3 of the way up on a 2000 watt heat gun, and I did it for about 5 minutes by circling the heat gun clockwise, and yeah, the card came back to life. But with that aside, let's get back to the vlog. Here on the desk, we have 7 graphics cards, and these ones starting from the right to the left, we've got a 7970, a 7950, 7870, an RX 570, and a GTX 650. But these two on the end, we're gonna talk about these a little bit later because there's sort of like a thing going on where I think that the vBios update on these cards may have been the reason why they both died. And this is the weird thing. One of them got Tech Yes Loving, the other has not got Tech Yes Loving, and they died in the exact same fashion in that I was running him in a PC, and after about a day it was just like pew, and then the whole PC went off and the card was essentially not giving out a signal after that. But regardless, I have heard of a solution, and here's right here, the heat gun. Now people are saying this is a much better method to repair graphics cards if they can be repaired via this method, as opposed to putting them in the oven, say for instance. Now in the past, I have had success with the oven method, but keep in mind, it wasn't that big of a hit ratio. Like if anything, I'd say around, in my experience, is maybe 20% or so, but as opposed to this, people say this method is better, not just because you can direct the heat to the section where the GPU die is, but also you won't be stinking out your whole house with fumes. And that's one area where I will definitely agree that putting these things in the oven, especially if you're gonna eat in that oven after you're done with these cards, is not a good thing. I mean, some of these things will have chemicals on them, solder masks, whatnot. You just do not want to be breathing that stuff in, let alone eating it. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna give these ones a quick phase 1 Tech Yes Loving. That's where we get some alcohol wipes, clean them down, see if we can get a quick signal out of them before we attempt to put the heat gun on them. And then if they don't work after that, I'm pretty much going to just put them aside. If someone out in the audience wants to grab them locally, I'll be happy to give these things away. But keep in mind that I recently did a video, I'll put the link up here, where I took these things over to Taiwan, some graphics cards that were faulty. That's a GTX 1070 and also a 1050 Ti and a GTX 960, and I got them all fixed. But in the case of the MSI 960, since it was out of warranty, I had to pay $25 for that. And so you can see with some of these cards here, especially a GTX 650, I would not even bother paying $25 to fix this thing, let alone put it in a suitcase, take it all the way to Taiwan, and then bring it back for that price. So we're starting to venture up. I think the 7970 would be starting to venture up into that area if it would be worth it. Same with the RX 570, but whether or not these would be fixable, especially in the case of this one, since it's a no-name branded RX 570 from a Chinese OEM that I don't even know the name. Like, I literally don't even know the name of this card. I'd guess that some of the repair centers wouldn't take these in. And in the case of this one right on the end here, this is a Sapphire, I believe, and I don't even know where the repair center for that is in Taiwan. There we go, let's see why I'll begin. So the 7970, that actually gives out a signal. It looks like it's working absolutely fine, so I'm really shocked. But the Phase 1 Tech Yes 11, that's just the alcohol wipes. We did notice, like, right around here, and I'll pull up the conspiracy cam for you guys, that this thermal paste was, like, weird. There was, like, some thermal paste stuck over this area here, and so we cleaned that off. And if that was capacitive or conductive, that definitely could have caused a problem. So our first candidate here, the 7950, this was actually booting after we put the heat gun on it, but it has a problem that I've never seen before, and that is when we get to Windows, Windows just literally starts locking up and freezing. So although we have it to boot, it just doesn't function properly with inside Windows. And we tried this a couple of times. We've got another graphics card installed at the moment, and Windows is working absolutely fine. So this one's a bizarre fix at the moment, and after doing this once, my curiosity is aroused to the point where we're going to keep going through the rest of them and seeing what magic can happen. So this one here, it's still completely gone, not giving out a signal, so that's kind of 2 for 2, where we've got, well, kind of 1.5 for 2, because this one kind of half came back to life. So we're now going to try this one next. This is a GTX 1650, a little bit simpler, but maybe a little bit of an easier fix. So now this GTX 650 is a success. It is now with us in spirit and body. So this one got a new form of tech yes loving, and it's working absolutely fine. Problem is, we took this outside to film, cause it stunk the studio up. I'm filming like right out here now. I'll just quickly get the light on there. So I'm doing this whole thing outside now because yeah, it just reeks in here. So yeah, we're doing the whole heat gun thing outside, and I'm sort of like working on my technique still, so that is, I'm gonna probably try and redo these after I try a couple of these out, but this is a legit success story. I'm glad about that. This one here, here's the Sapphire card, which we're gonna have to talk about after I give it a smoking session, because I think this one, like these two Sapphire cards, I just think they're goners, that's all. Needs a clock drop, I think.
Oh, that's not a good sound.
Yeah.
No, that was your computer. That was not a good sound.
Alright.
Holy, that's not a good sound for a computer part to make.
That was the audio. That's just the audio going to the monitor.
Oh, okay, so it just crashed and then played a solid tone. So just underclock it.
Yeah, which is if it does boot up again. I mean, it depends if it's fucked or not. So this RX 570 here, it lasted all of 2 minutes before it made a really weird sound and just crashed out with a blue screen. So I'm not entirely sure what part of this GPU is faulty, but it doesn't want to reboot back up. So yeah, this was probably one of the shortest relived graphics cards I've ever seen. Actually, I think it is the shortest relived graphics card. But with that said, we do have this card, which I'm going to give another session to, and then we'll talk about the Heatgun method, but also vBios trolls and what happened to these Sapphire cards. So now we're at the conclusion here the next day, and the GTX 650, that came back to life. That's looking like it's going to have a bit of life left in it. I will be testing it though in a gaming rig if I do decide to sell it, and make sure that it's running stress tests absolutely fine. Of course, if you do sell something like this, you do want to guarantee the PC, making sure that person who buys it doesn't get hosed in any way, shape or form. But now we've got the 7970 here, and this just needed some tech yes loving, and that came back to life. I was really surprised. That's a really good win out of this whole situation. But then we got the RX 570. This one came back to life momentarily. I was kind of hoping that it would stay alive, but nope. I got that on camera too. It pretty much just gave a blue screen, cut out, and then we had the 7950 doing the same thing where it gave out a signal, but then it pretty much froze the computer. And those were two chances at reviving, but it didn't work out. And then this one here just gave out absolutely no signal whatsoever beforehand, and then after it did the exact same thing. So something is seriously faulty on that card. These Sapphire cards, we're going to move over now to a conclusion and talk about the vBios trolls, which is the reason why I think these two RX 570s I had here are now not working anymore. But basically the Heatgun, it can work. It's a lot better than the oven method in my opinion, because of course you're not going to ruin your oven with all these bad smells, and you've got a bit more control over the time it takes to do it, and you can quickly do it with ease as opposed to the oven. You got to put things inside, and it really is tedious compared to the Heatgun method. And to be honest, my hit ratio is about the same as the oven. But anyway, what happened with these RX 570s from Sapphire? I got two of these from a massive mining deal in the past, and they were the only two cards that I've flashed with a vBios, and then they've died in the exact same fashion over pretty much the same time period. Now I used this one in a build where I gave it some tech yes loving. Everything was working really good, the temperatures were good, but after I did that build I started stress testing it, because that's what I do before I sell a computer, and the computer just cut off. Like, I was in the room at the time and it just cut off. And then I decided, okay, maybe I messed up, like maybe something happened when I was putting the card back together, because there are a lot of screws. It is a different design, and the back plate is kind of reliant upon having the cooler stuck to it and getting forced that way. But no, sure enough, I decided to give the next card just a quick data vac and not change any of the thermal paste over. And then I updated the BIOS from the previous mining BIOS, and it just died in the exact same fashion a day later. So I knew something was up with the vBios that I used after the second card had died in the exact same way. And that was just when I was stress testing the card, it just cut the whole machine off, and then the card wouldn't work after that. So one thing that came out of this was, if manufacturers could upload the original vBios to their websites, that would be amazing, because yeah, getting a mining card like this and then going on Tech Power Up, they just provide pretty much a service of re-uploading the vBioses from other individual users. And so in this case, I believe someone may have programmed the vBios in a way that spiked a particular voltage, and that caused the component to pretty much hit the hay and never come back. But then of course there's the incentive for the original manufacturers not to upload the original vBios, since these are mining cards, and when they're resold on the used market, there's pretty much no profit going to Sapphire, for example, and in fact it's probably costing them a sale. So it might not be in their best interest to upload the original vBios, but it's just something that would give me peace of mind when I'm flashing some of these cards back from those previous mining BIOSes where the person hasn't saved the original vBios. But no guys, in closing out the heat gun, it can work really well. As I said in the intro, I'm just doing the Luke Skywalker method. Just get that thing at a certain temperature. Make sure it's not too hot to the point where it'll sizzle a PCB, where over in Japan, I did put one in the oven way back in the day. It was a real old potato. And that was my first time doing the oven bake method. And I pretty much had that PCB, like it was burning. I put it on that hot. So if you do get the temperatures too hot, you can fry the PCB and permanently damage the components. But that was actually a really funny experience. I did take some B-roll of it, but I'm not sure if I still have that on hand. Other than that, I've got some graphics cards that are now working again, so I'm pretty happy. And this method is definitely a lot easier, to the point where I'll start collecting dead GPUs and then put them in a stack and maybe update and do these videos every so often for you guys, just to over time get a proper hit rate on the actual percentages of these GPUs that are coming back to life. But in the meantime, I can recommend this method. It is a last resort, of course. What have you got to lose? Not a whole lot. And in the case of the GPUs here, if I wanted to, I could stash them and bring them back to Taiwan. But keep in mind, it does cost about 25 USD over there to get them fixed. So you want to have cards that are worth that 25 USD to get repaired. But it does kind of suck that the GTX 650, the cheapest GPU in the stack here, was the one that came back to life. I would have liked the 7950 or maybe the RX 570 or something like that to be working again, but that's just sometimes the way it goes. But with that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. Also, let us know in the comment section below, have you fixed the GPU in a similar fashion? Do you like the oven method or do you like the heat gun method better? Love reading your thoughts and opinions as always, and I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye. I know, you guys are probably thinking there's another reason he got a heat gun. And you're right on the money. And as always, if you want to, just have a crack.